Hey, hello friends. We have another coding challenge today. It is the palindrome checker. So a palindrome is a word, phrase, sentence that reads the same backwards as it does forwards. So easy example, auto, O-T-T-O, O-T-T-O. It's the same both ways. Classic example, race car. Funny example, emu fume. And from The Simpsons, I always remember rise to vote sir. So let's jump in. We're going to return a boolean. We're just going to say, is it a palindrome or not? True or false. Boolean. And we'll just call it is palindrome. It's going to take in a string. And we're going to use the double pointer method. So this is just where we're going to point to the beginning of the string and we're going to point to the end of the string and use those to complete this task. So the beginning of the string is at position 0. And the end of the string, we can just use the built-in length method. Subtract 1 for index 0. And then we're going to use a while loop. We're going to check while left is less than right. And we're going to say if string.the char at, which is another built-in method that prevents us from having to create a char array manually. So if the char at left does not equal the char at right. So if the first letter doesn't match the last letter, well, that means it's not a palindrome, so we return false. Then I need to make sure to update my variables so that my for loop doesn't go forever. We add 1 to left and we subtract 1 from right. And now it's going to go through every single one of these characters and check to see if they're the same. So if we can make it through that check, we can just return, we can return true. If it makes it through that false check, we know that, yep, all the characters match, so we know that it is indeed a palindrome. So we can test that using auto. Yep. I need to print out the method, not word. So we can check and we can see that, yep, this is a palindrome, O-T-T-O. Maybe you're saying, Adrian, wait a second, auto, that's not a word, that's a name, right? So we have to capitalize it. And of course, that's going to break it because capital O does not equal lowercase o. We're going to see that false. Okay, well, that's easy enough. What we can do is take the whole string and make it to lowercase. We need to set string equals string. And now that should work fine. And we can see that, yep, now auto returns true, even with the capital letter. Now you say, but wait a second, Adrian, you have rise to vote sir, which is a sentence. And that has spaces in it. So this is also going to break it because we have R lowercase equals R, I-I-S-S, but then it's going to check E, is that equal to an empty space? It's going to say no, that's not, so it's going to return false, which of course we want to account for. So what we can do is use the replace method, which is great for handling input from a user. You can modify it like this, where we can just, the first variable, or the first argument rather, in replace is what you want to replace, and then the second is what you want to replace it with. So I want to replace all spaces with nothing. Now, something is going to happen here that I don't want to happen, and I wonder if you can see what it is I did wrong. And maybe pause and take a second to think about it, because we're going to get an error. And here we go. Yep, we get an index out of bounds error. Now, why is this? Well, that's because right here we're taking the length of the string, which in this, well, it's doing, and then we're replacing all of the blanks, all the spaces rather, with nothing. So that effectively changed the size of this string. So now while we go here to check, it's going to say, well, no, you're starting a few characters after the string ends. So there's nothing there. So we want to put this before. And now it should work fine. And there you go. So that's today's coding challenge. Go ahead and let me know what you think. Give me better solutions, or just make fun of me, roast my code. That's absolutely fine. Or if you're here as part of one of my job interviews, maybe hire me. Just tossing the idea out there. Thanks a lot, guys. You have a good day, all right?